Anarchy. Okay, so let's first of all, I'm going to show the video, Randy, and you just tell me what you make of it, because this is what you do for a living. Because you let's roll the tape. Dana White puts it out. This is what are you seeing?
Well, I definitely see two guys sparring. I'm kind of questioning why there's an official referee even in his uniform there. That's not a normal thing for sparring work.
Sparring is usually two guys.
Actually, it would be more than two guys. He would have a number of sparring partners that would rotate in normal circumstance.
So what's the job of a sparring partner?
To give you a look, present what your opponent may bring to this fight, and try to mimic that as much as you can.
Okay, so you're not bringing your game.
You're not there to fight. You're not there to prove you can beat this guy or you can compete with this guy. That's not what it's about. You're either volunteering or being paid to come and give this guy a look. Give him rounds, give him solid work, and mimic the guy he's fighting.
So you get paid probably okay to do that, because can it be you've never obviously been the sparring partner. You've been the champion. But for a sparring partner, it feels like Paulie Malignaggi was offended because Paulie's a real fighter. And he's prideful, and they released video of him getting knocked out, and he's saying, hey, time out here. I'm just a sparring partner. Is that what's happening here?
This reeks of a publicity stunt to me. Normally you don't have an official referee there kind of presiding over a sparring match.
Okay.
Normally you would have two or three other partners there that would rotate in on rounds and give each other breaks, because it's tough being that guy.
You're getting beat on.
Yeah. I mean, you know why you're there. You're there to contribute, to help this guy find solutions to the problems his opponent is going to.
So you have sparring partners.
Absolutely.
In the UFC. And they would come in and basically say, okay, here's who I'm fighting next. This guy is a kicker.
They're part of my team, exactly. And I brought in specific guys. Sometimes it was body type. You're facing a guy like Tim Sylvia or Brock Lesnar. You needed a particular body type and skill set. Sometimes it was a skill set. Oh, this guy's a great kickboxer. I need some kickboxers. I need to know what that looks like. I need to solve that problem.
Okay, you fought James Toney about 6-7 years ago, and you took him out fast. But it was different then.
MMA. That was an MMA match.
Okay.
It was not a boxing match.
Okay, and I've argued Conor in an MMA match would kick Floyd's butt.
I agree.
It would be over fast.
I agree.
Tell me though, when you fought, when you fought a boxer, is the way of thinking different, boxer to UFC guy?
I think a lot of people don't recognize how striking changes when you're in a mixed martial arts competition. There's kicking, kneeing, elbows, all these takedowns, all these other things that affect your stance, affect what weapons you have to look out for, and what weapons you can use. That changes your striking tremendously. So they're apples and oranges in a lot of ways.
So basically, Randy, you always, even as good as you were, you have to be aware of so many different disciplines. Like Floyd Mayweather goes into a ring, I'm looking at shoulders up. You are looking at legs, posture, angles. You can get knocked. I mean, a leg to the head's a baseball bat.
Absolutely.
So you are a UFC fighter by their very nature has to be more aware, perhaps?
It changes your stance. It changes where you put your feet and how you move your feet. You have to be aware. Even your hands. You have to be ready to drop your hands to sprawl, to stop a guy from shooting in and getting to your hips and taking you down. There are a lot of different things that go into mixed martial arts that aren't there in a pure boxing match. That's why you see the amazing footwork, the timing, the hand speed, all those, to be able to shoulder roll and do a lot of those things that Floyd's so good at is because it's pure boxing.
I said this before, McGregor's a decathlete, Mayweather's 100, he's Usain Bolt, and they're just going to run a race. This is not a decathlete, where a UFC fight would be a decathlete. I can kick a little, box a little, wrestle a little. This feels like a mismatch to me.
I give Conor a 1 in 10 chance of winning this fight.
That's not terrible. You think he can knock him out?
He's unorthodox. He's a southpaw. He's not going to throw things that Floyd's used to seeing. He's younger and he's a little bigger.
He looks thicker.
Those are all positives for Conor.
He looks thicker.
But at the end of the day, he's still competing against, in a pure boxing match, one of, pound for pound, the best technical fighters, defensive fighters that we've seen in a long, long time.
Randy, if you had to take yourself, let's go back to your physical prime 11 years ago or something. So how old are you right now?
54.
Oh, geez, wow, you've aged well. All right, let's go 20 years back. You're 31 years old, and you're in the Conor McGregor space or whatever it is. And I said to you, okay, $100 million payday, got to fight a great boxer. Now, he's a little old. how long would it have taken you training 3 times a day, twice a day, to at least feel comfortable in a boxing ring? Because I wonder about the comfort of McGregor.
I wonder that as well. I don't know if I would have ever felt comfortable. Even facing James Toney in a mixed martial arts competition, I wasn't silly enough to think that I was going to stand around in front of him and test him out as a boxer.
You didn't want to do that.
That would have been ridiculous.
So you just avoided that.
Fashioned a game plan that was going to take him right out of that area of strength and put him where I felt most comfortable, which was on the ground.
Did he? I don't remember the fight. Did he land one early? Because it was a 2-round.
He didn't get a chance.
He didn't get a chance.
No, it lasted 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Oh, that's not great for him.
Set him up, took him down, and when he hit the ground, he was done in pretty short order.
Yeah. My other question would be, is it possible? I don't know enough about Conor's background. Is it, because you guys all come from different areas. Some of you are wrestlers.
Absolutely.
Is it possible Conor does have some natural boxing skills?
Oh,
Maybe more than you did.
He's just, as mixed martial artists go,
yes,
he leans more towards the striking side of things. But it's a different kind of striking, spinning back kicks, spinning back fists. It's not your traditional Western boxing style of striking. It's a much more martial arts influenced style of striking. That's the unorthodox part that may give Mayweather some issues, at least early, because he's not going to do anything in an orthodox fashion that Floyd's used to seeing.
Here's my takeaway: is it's going to be for 3 rounds, an odd fight. It's giraffe against snake. It's literally, they've never faced each other. And there's going to be this, I think, for 2 or 3, there's always a feeling out period for any fight. But I mean, you're facing 2 different lethal fighters. My guess is it can be a boring fight.
It does have that potential. Floyd tends to be a defensive counter puncher anyway. He brings that style. He's not a big bomber. He's not going to come out throwing heavy leather. I'll be surprised if he knocks Conor down or knocks him out. I don't expect that going either way, actually. I think it has the potential to be a 12-rounder, and I think there might be some sleepers in there.
Randy Couture joining us. Let me ask you about one of the other things. This is something that literally you're one of the only people in the world that can explain this, is that when you go into a ring, your heart rate. So just think about getting in a fight when you were in high school or college. Your heart rate amplifies. But they have tested NASCAR drivers, and the great ones in those turns going 198, their heart rate never changes. So Floyd's been in this 10-round stuff, Randy, forever. He knows the pacing of a boxing match. McGregor's pacing is UFC is like, it's like fighting in the backyard at college, right? Like it's like intense, go now. I worry about McGregor's pacing. His heart rate. You get to the 6th round, the 7th, and he's not used to the length of time he's standing in there.
There's a little bit of difference. 3-minute rounds versus 5-minute rounds. MMA, all rounds are 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Conor's been in championship fights, so he's gone 25 minutes, but they're all 5-minute rounds. I don't know. It's a little bit different, but I'm not so worried about that.
You're not worried about that.
He's got some experience walking into that adrenaline-filled situation in front of that crowd. It hasn't been boxing, but there's still enough similarity there that I think he'll handle that okay. I don't think that's going to be an issue for him. Really.
Okay. I'm kind of reaching there, but it's just something I'm thinking about. Yeah. Let's look at the video one more time. So when you look at Conor McGregor, as a UFC star, it's almost like you're a 1988 quarterback and he's the 2000 quarterback and he's getting super rich. Is there animosity when UFC you're one of the bedrock stars, okay, and now you got this guy that's doing a little gimmicky thing and getting sick money? How do you view McGregor?
I think he's very good at what he does, both in the cage, the way he fights. He's backed up all the talk.
You like his fighting style?
For the most part, I like it. It's a dynamic style. I think he has some glaring weaknesses. They're keeping him away from guys like Khabib and some of these guys that are very good ground fighters. Mendez showed a potential weakness in his game that he doesn't have that wrestling and that grappling style.
When he knocked out Nate,
lost to Diaz, it was on the ground.
Yeah.
And so, they're matching him up in a particular way because he brings a lot of eyeballs to those events. It's good business. That's the biggest thing that this highlights. We as mixed martial artists have everything to gain in this matchup. with Mayweather, and nothing really to lose. Even if he goes 12 rounds, I think for mixed martial artists,
Oh my God, you
that's
won
a
the
win
fight.
for us. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
And if he does find a way to hurt Floyd, I mean, amazing.
Hey, if
boxing has way more to lose in this situation than we do.
I will not think less. Here's my thing: if Mayweather, if you come out of this fight and McGregor loses a unanimous, but made Floyd uncomfortable, huge win UFC.
Here's the thing that McGregor is doing. He's highlighting the flaw in our sport. Why are they making $100+ million? I've never, ever, and none of the fighters, including Conor McGregor, ever made that much in mixed martial arts. Why? Because the sanctioning body and the promoter are the same guy in our sport, and they manipulate. It's too much power. They manipulate that however they
Dana's
need
got
to.
too much power.
And in boxing, those are separate powers. The sanctioning body, and this isn't a title fight, but I don't even know if there's a sanctioning body assigned to this fight. It's more of an exhibition in a lot of ways. But that's the difference. Floyd can represent himself as his own promoter and negotiate for a bigger piece of the revenue that comes in from this event. And Conor, in this situation, because he's protected by the Muhammad Ali Act, can do the same thing. Now, why he's keeping Dana White and the guys there involved and giving them a cut, I think because he wants to maintain that MMA relationship for future reference. But it's interesting.
Do you resent Dana at all?
I have no issues with Dana. Dana has a lot of issues with me, but I don't really have any issues with him.
Okay. You sound like my kids and me. I don't have issues with them. They all have issues with Dad. It's great seeing you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're a credit to the sport, and you bring up a lot of stuff. I really reached on that whole heart thing.